Alright, Schlockmeister fans. Another review of my previous channel. It's Scalps! Let's check it out. Our movie starts out with some carnage. Not sure when that scene took place, but now in present day, in the desert, and there's some sort of weird lion creature. This guy clearly is digging for artifacts or something. Uh-oh. That can't be good. Alright, now we have an archaeology professor.
But then, of course, that's archaeology. Unearthing things, you know.
Like your notebook?
Yeah, well, it's here somewhere.
He wants to go dig, but it's against the rules.
This is a letter from the State Department of California, and it says, it is now and has always been illegal practice to dig or otherwise excavate in any way any and all Indian graveyards in the state of California.
He is therefore going to do it anyway. These are his kids, or his students. They all look like they're in their mid-30s.
Hey, here's the duck. Now we can get rolling.
I want to sit by the window in case I get sick. Come on, everybody.
Cancel. Oh, no. You see, I got this map around that whole area that we've been discussing. And the old man that I bought this from said that if you follow this, it's almost impossible to get lost. However, I think we can find this.
On their way out there, they run into the old Native American man. He's going to warn them to stay away.
Who are you?
I'm Billy Ironwing.
So, what is it we don't know?
Black trees. Don't go there.
Apparently some Indians slaughtered the Indians were slaughtered years ago.
No use warning these city folks. Better go back to sleep. It'll be a long afternoon.
They go out in the middle of nowhere and the buzzards are already circling.
What he's doing out here?
He must have taken a wrong turn to the wells.
I think he followed us here. What? Yeah. So they brought back with the over here.
After spending the night, they trek out further into the desert the next day.
You must look inside yourself if you really want to find the truth. Defiling the graves of the dead will only anger their souls.
If that's how you feel, why'd you come on this trip?
I didn't think it would be like this. I'm feeling the evil in this ground. It's alive with evil.
What is it? Look. It's blood. And it's coming from nowhere. What the hell's going on?
This chick's wandering around at night. And there's the lion beast again. And it's suddenly daytime. Now they get a warning from the fire.
Indian camp.
We thought we saw a camp, but we were mistaken.
He's possessed
What
now.
are you saying? You know we saw it.
Look, I think you bored them all enough with your stupid ghost stories. Why don't you just shut up?
Now he's acting funny.
Yeah. He's been talking about Black Claw and Indian death rites.
Black claw.
What is that?
Now these two look like they're going to start making out, but I believe this is the possessed guy.
Hey, Randy.
It's mine.
And he's basically gonna rip her shirt off, rip her bra off, and have his way with her.
Why'd you do that?
After he's done, he starts to change into a monster. She takes off, but she doesn't get too far. And he's not done. This is where the title of the film comes into play. And then there's this guy. And a slow motion death.
Hurry.
This is,
I'm trying to reach you.
Follow my
I think her name is
voice.
Ellen.
Hurry.
I am.
Ben's changed. And he now has arrows. Later on, we got ourselves a knockdown, drag out fight. But he's not out of it yet. Wow, that might do it. He thought he was out of the woods, but he's not. That looked like a woman chopping his head off. The next morning, the professor's wandering around, not finding any of his students. He does, however, find an arrow.
Oh, dear God! No!
Our film ends with everybody dead except one chick, who is now apparently the possessed Native American killer. Native American killer. Alright, let's talk about Scalps. It's a movie that I had on a VHS tape, on the same tape with Slayer. As I recall, Slayer and Scalps were on a double tape that you could rent. I think it was maybe Continental Home Video back in the 80s, and my Schlockmeister brother Jeff got a hold of that tape and copied it and copied them for me. I never actually watched either film until much later. The Slayer I didn't see until I think maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and Scalps I'd seen a couple times, but it still took quite a while. But anyway, the movie is about this professor who's taking a bunch of his students into some kind of California desert to dig for Indian treasures, Native American trinkets or whatever, even though it's against the law to do that, and the university's told him you can't do this. He's doing it anyway, of course, because he's a rebellious professor. So he takes all of his students who look like they're in their mid-30s. There's one guy with a receding hairline and a great big beard, and he takes them out in the desert, and they spend the night there. Now, they were warned by this other Native American at this grocery store, you know, it's got a death curse kind of guy, and telling them not to go out there because apparently 100 years ago, a bunch of Indians got scalped and killed and slaughtered or whatever. So there's ghosts doing revenge or something like that. Who knows? But anyway, they ignore all that. They go out in there, and basically one guy ends up getting possessed by this Native American monster, I guess. I don't know. It looks like a lion monster at one point. And then he starts picking off all of his pals one by one. There's a couple of decapitations. There's a scalping. Actually, some decent gore in this movie. And eventually, we're left with one survivor. There's a woman, but she ends up hacking off. I guess they killed the creature, but then the possession went into this other lady, and she decapitated one of her friends, who was the only other survivor. And then the next day, the professor's wandering around, and he gets an arrow in the eye. He dies, or we presume he died. And then the last scene in the movie is this woman who's now possessed, and she's going to be the new monster, I guess. That's how our movie ends. That is Scalps. Anyway, directed by Fred Olen Ray, 1983. I used to send some emails to Fred Olen Ray back in like 1995 when AOL first started. I somehow got a hold of him on some chat board or something, and we exchanged several emails. He was a nice guy. I still remember his email address, actually, but it probably isn't active anymore. It was an AOL one. But anyway, so yeah, that's Scalps. It's got a brief nude scene in it. Topless scene. There was, like I said, some good gore, some decent gore in this movie, actually. Cheaply made film, but you know what? It entertains enough. It's only like 78 minutes long, and you can't go wrong with something like that. Now, this is a DVD I had that Retro Media put out. I think Fred Olen Ray was involved with Retro Media, but a Blu-ray has since been released, I think in the last year or two. Maybe they've cleaned it up a little bit. The copy wasn't the best on this DVD, but it wasn't the worst either, but it still looked a little VHS-y, a little grainy. Maybe the Blu-ray was all cleaned up better. Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, that's it. Maybe somebody can let me know. I'm curious if they were able to clean up Scalps or not. So anyway, leave some comments. Let me know what you think about it. And yeah, watch it. I'll leave a link down below to the Blu-ray if you're looking for it, and click it. Buy it. Let me know. Watch it. Bye.